With loads of business advice flooding the industry, it has never been harder to see the path to success. And you can't take action if you don't have clarity. Get clear on the actionable tips and strategies that will help to scale your business here on Masters in Clarity, the podcast that brings you clarity around messaging, business growth, digital marketing, personal development, and the business owner's journey to success. Let's join our guide, the master of turning clarity into action and lasting impact, Dolores Hirschman.
I'm so excited for my conversation with Luly. Luly is a mom and self-proclaimed magnet for awesomeness. As a best-selling author of Balance is Bullshit, she helps women create a business around their lifestyle and family priorities so that they can experience joy in all that they do. I met Luly a few years ago, I think it was 2016, and at the time I was just so attracted to her boldness, she's Cuban American, her Cubanness, her joy. Luly is one of those people that the moment you get to meet her, you just want to hang out around her. She just has that energy of positivity, of connectedness, and she is a master at building communities and helping women build businesses that match their lifestyle. So check out this episode with Luly. You don't want to miss it. So, I am so excited for this conversation. Luly is a mom and self-proclaimed magnet for awesomeness. As a best-selling author of Balance is Bullshit, she helps women create a business around their lifestyle and family priorities so that they can experience joy in all that they do. So, Luly, thank you so much for saying yes to having this conversation together. And I am so excited to see you. I mean, we haven't talked for a couple of years now. I know we've been all on a journey. It's been a crazy ride for the world and for all of us. Yeah. And so let's start with your clarity journey. How did you find your path to this moment right now?
You know, first of all, I want to say thank you, not only for having me, but for doing the work that you do. I think it's really powerful. And I love that you get to give us a platform to be vulnerable and courageous in sharing our journeys. And I think all too often when I'm interviewed, we tend to focus on all the glory moments. And in preparing for this interview, I was so excited because I am all about sharing the non-glorious moments, which is what gets us to the glorious moments, which is really what the journey of clarity is. And I think for me, my journey of clarity has been one of a lot of very dark moments and a lot of excruciating years, since 2017, just a lot of, that game that I don't know if you guys have ever been to like an arcade or a Chuck E. Cheese. It's the game where the little animal comes up and then you get to whack it. It's called the whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole thing.
Yeah. And I feel like for the last several years, as I'm getting back up, I've been beaten down or whack-a-mole back down. And I'm grateful that I have the wisdom, the discernment, the grace, the faith, the guidance, and the openness to know that is really clarity at work. That is really growth at work. So my journey has been one that I have a lot of appreciation for, and one that I'm really just thrilled to share. I'm really thrilled to share.
And so, right now in your work, you open this path to empower women. And in some ways, these are not your words, but my understanding is you help women understand that they can have it all to some extent, that they can have the version of all that they want, that they can have financial freedom, that they have a business without compromising what they don't want to compromise, and that they can design how all works together, right?
Yeah, I think, Oprah said it best. You can have everything you want, just not all at the
Oh,
same time.
exactly. The all your version of all. I always
Your
say,
version of all, right?
'cause I mean, I'm a mother of four. You're a mother of two. I
Yeah.
always said to my husband, I've been a full-time business owner, full-time mom, and he said the math doesn't compute, and I'll say, it's my math. I define what 100% looks like.
Right, exactly. And I think there are different stages and phases of life, and we get to remember that. We get to remember, now my sons are in high school, right? And now I'm a single mom, very different from 5 years ago when I was married and I had grade school children. So therefore, my business looks very different because I have made the decision for myself that my family will come first. And that doesn't mean that I don't get to build this incredible business and do the work that I love to do. It just means that it might take a little longer. It might look a little different. And I might have a few more boundaries, right? Just this morning, I had a hard stop because I had another death in the family and I have to prepare to leave tomorrow to Atlanta. And there was, I was facilitating a conversation. I'm a faculty member of a program, and the meeting was supposed to be over at 10 a.m. And I said, I have a hard stop at 10 a.m. And just reminding, because I usually will stay on a few extra minutes. And this time I couldn't because family had to come at 10 o'clock on the dot. So I think also being clear about those boundaries and being okay with saying that, with asking for what I want and making those requests, always, of course, with integrity and respect, but making those requests nonetheless.
Yeah. I love that. So let's talk about the work that you do.
Yeah.
What is the one thing you've learned in your people, your market, that, sometimes, and this is, if you're a business owner and you're listening to this is an important part of our conversation, because we assume what our market needs. And then when we go and jump into the pool, we realize that where they find the most value is in things we either thought that were obvious or taken for granted. And that's gold for them. And I suspect that in the space that you are with women business owner, you might have been surprised that, tactics and strategies is obviously a part of it, but we don't need more tactics and strategies. We women business owners, we need something else. What is that else?
I agree. I definitely agree with that. And, as somebody, as a marketer myself, I used to actually have a marketing agency. And I think that's how you and I connected, because we geeked out on marketing, right, several years ago. Learned a really big lesson from my own community. So what I do for a living is I help women create businesses around their lifestyle and around their family priorities. And because I wrote that book, Balance is Bullshit, I did, and I still do, get the attention of corporations. So I get to do workshops and even team training and communication on purpose and just really cool things that I get to do in corporations as well. But several years ago, I've had this community for 6 years now called Boost. And in this community, the women pay an annual membership fee, and they get everything from workshops to one-on-one time with me. We do accountability groups. We mastermind each month. We do quarterly planning. And I was attracting a lot of moms, married moms of grade school children. And then one year, several millennials joined the community. And because I'm a marketer, I paid attention. And I went back to this little worksheet that I have that I always give my clients on, your customer profile, right? Like your customer, what I like to call your unicorn client. And what I realized is the one thing that I was all about is freedom and flexibility. And these millennials, while they weren't married, they didn't have children, and they didn't have the unique challenges that married mothers of grade school children had, they did have the desire, the hopes, and the dreams to have freedom and flexibility. And I was attracting them without even realizing it. So I found it so fascinating. And you're absolutely right. One of my clients just a couple of weeks ago said, Luly, everything you teach us, we can Google. And that was, by the way, that did not hurt my feelings.
No, not at all. I mean, we have to be aware of that. That's true.
Absolutely. And she's absolutely right. Everything I teach you, you can Google, right? And I love to quote the greats that I've maybe learned that from, or a book or a course that I've taken. But what I know that I do really well is I bring all of that together for you. But really at my core, and going again on the theme of clarity, is that what I have to offer is community and connection. I have access to the resources. I can make the valuable recommendations for you. I could tell you about the book or the course of the person. I will make text introductions. I will give you warm leads. And I will also give you the place to create that for yourself.
Yeah.
Because I am a magnet for awesomeness. The only people that come into my community or attend my events are awesome people. Because there are non-awesome people that think I'm crazy. And that's fantastic.
Good. Those are not our people.
And that was actually another really great point of clarity, was being okay with not being for everybody.
Yeah. Well, it's like dating. We can't marry everybody. We can't date everybody. There's a lot of people that we really don't want to date.
That's right.
And so the clearer we are with who we don't want to hang out with, the more clear those that do want to hang out with us will be attracted. I always say clarity is kindness.
Absolutely.
And clear boundaries is absolute kindness.
Yes.
Because one of the things that hurt relationship and us in the world the most is all of the assumptions that other people and we do about other people, and then we behave around those assumptions. Where my brothers, assume it makes an ass of you and me, right? When we operate in the assumption space without assuming things from other people and letting people to assume things from us without us taking the lead to clarify and say, I only work these hours. I make my meetings on time. I show up on time, and I depart on time. And that's just how I function. And so people can accommodate to that. People function better when they know what they're dealing with. So clarity and clear boundaries is kindness.
Yes, I agree. I love that.
So, Luly, speaking of clarity, how much clarity do you need in order to take action? What's the balance between knowing the path and anticipating every step and taking action?
I speak in terms now of before my divorce and after my divorce, because my divorce in 2018, while it was so excruciating, and I don't wish the experience on anyone, I have a deep appreciation for it because I've become a better version of myself as a result of all the pain that I experienced. And I think one of the big lessons for me, in fact, in my Boost community, I often share, like, this is lesson 382 of my divorce. This is
and growing.
just the growth that I experience as a result of the pain. It's also just my mindset, is I really do believe that there are lessons in everything, and I do believe that there are rainbows after the storms. We just don't always see them because we're in the storm. So I think for me, I used to be that person that would dot my I's and cross my T's. A couple years ago, I probably wouldn't have even come on video with such little makeup. I would have made sure that all my background was perfect. And today, I don't know that I strive for that perfection anymore. I still struggle with it every once in a while, but really my standard has become excellence versus perfection. So I do look beautiful.
You definitely do.
But I don't put that extra pressure, and that extra, it's extra pressure. It's the extra unnecessary pressure and just heaviness and weight on things. I think also I'm okay with not having all the answers. So back to your question, I remember early on in my personal development journey with one of my mentors, Ali Brown, she always said, just let the plane take off. right? And it's like build the plane while it's flying. And while that might sound absurd, I think some of the best campaigns, some of the best projects that I've launched and that I've created, I haven't had a very clear understanding of how every single thing was going to work. And I'm grateful for that, because all too often we allow the plane to sit on the tarmac
Too
for
long.
weeks, for months, for years, because it's not perfect.
Yep.
It's like, I want to find the perfect name for it, or the colors are not right, and it's like, just get it done, and then tweak it later. And then you have a great story of, do you remember what it used to look like? How crappy that was? And look at it now. And then you get to celebrate the growth. So I'm very much now of the mindset of, yes, there is preparation that needs to take place. Of course, we're not going to be irresponsible either, right? So we are going to take the necessary time to do the research and to do the planning, but also not get caught up on the tactics that might not matter.
Yeah, and so I love that, because at Masters in Clarity, we talk clarity, right? And there is a balance. There's only so much clarity you need to get that plane off the ground. And then as it's flying, the answers to many of the questions that were holding you back are revealed, and you can implement them. I always say, when we drive at night, we drive really fast. We drive our cars. And sometimes no moon, pitch dark. We can only see as far as our headlights will show us. Right. But we trust that there's a road, and we continue at 60 miles per hour, knowing that the next mile will be revealed every time we move forward. So here's the thing. You know, you and I are similar in that we love our work. We also have lived, actually through the last 5 years, you and I have to have some long coffees. The last 5 years have change our lives, and like your situation and my situation, all of a sudden we needed to become financially independent for different reasons, right? Your divorce, my husband's divorce with his family business, and what that has entailed for us. All struggles in its own way.
Sure.
But we've been able to navigate these moments in our own way. You know, some women will say, okay, you know, I need to support my family. I'll go find any 9-to-5 job and just muscle through. But we are kind of the lucky ones, right? Because we get to financially support our families while doing work we love and work that we are clear on our impact.
Yeah.
So what is that impact that Luly has in the world, and that you will continue to have, and you are, you know, dreaming of having even more?
Yeah, you just gave me chills. I really do believe, like Marianne Williamson says, that we are all born with gifts. And those gifts come in the form of talents, skills, and abilities. And it is our duty and our responsibility to share them with this world. And that's something that I've been telling my 15 and 17-year-old ever since they were little. And it was important to me as a mom that I modeled that for them. And for me, I am big, I'm boisterous, I'm bold, and I am loud, and I am a rainbow in people's storms, and I am gonna see that glass half full, and I am relentless, and I am stubborn, because I am not only a woman, but I am a Cuban, and I am a Capricorn, and I don't know how to tone it down, and I don't know how to lower the volume. And I have finally started now at the age of 43 to embrace that, to realize that that is what makes Luly so amazing. What makes me so amazing is my ability to love in the way that I do. And because of all of those things that I just mentioned, I get to create the impact that I was born to create. I didn't decide this. This was decided for me. I just paid attention and I answered the calling.
Yeah, you decided to answer the calling.
That's right.
And you and I are in the business, and I'm getting chills, I'm freezing right now. You and I are in the business of not on our watch will women play small.
That's right.
Not on our watch will moms suffer. Not on our watch will people talented that can change the world will play small. Because you play big, I play big. I'm Argentinian from an Austrian mom, which is a challenge because I'm bold and loud and my mother's very subdued and like quiet. So with an American New England husband, like it's a kind of a combination here. But I love it because it's you know, if you're listening to this recording, to this podcast, guys, I would suggest you pause and rewind just a little bit and just listen to all of Luly's I ams. Because those were, I know they just flowed out of you, but that's a result of years.
Yes.
Of intentional work on herself. That's like you say success, overnight success. There's no such thing as overnight success. Just the I ams she said in the last 2 minutes are years. Yep. Of intentionally I am in herself into manifesting the most beautiful, powerful, strong leader that she has become to her community. So
Thank you.
I'm so honored to witness you. That's what I want to say. I'm so honored to just see you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I feel that. Thank you. And I think also that level of clarity is what keeps me going, because again, like you said, whether it's divorcing from a business or losing a home or getting a divorce or losing a loved one or losing your career or your job, you know, we've all experienced that sense of loss or the sense of feeling lost. And you know, the thing that we get to remember is that is temporary, that everything in life is temporary. And to be reminded that, and then to look for that alignment. I know for me, that's a really, really big word. I did a workshop several years ago where I was able to come up with my purpose statement, my why statement, and create my core values based on my top 5 Gallup's strengths from Gallup's Strengths Finder. And the result of that several years ago, I was so excited that I actually became certified in teaching the workshop, because it was really groundbreaking for me. And the reason why I share that is because that why statement and my core values have now come back to be my litmus test. It's when I get asked even to be on your podcast or to partner with somebody or to be on a panel for an event or to be hired for something, I get to go back to my why statement and I get to go back to my core values and ask myself the question, even when I'm really excited about it, or maybe I'm not even excited about it because I'm scared or I'm nervous or there's shame around it, I always come back to that why statement and I'll say, is this in alignment with who I am and what I was meant to do? And if the answer is a resounding yes, then we make it happen. Yeah. Whether we're scared or not.
Yes. I love it. And as far as, you know, the dark times that, you know, we've mentioned that a few times in this podcast, you know, they are bridges. There are bridges.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the saying goes, if you're going through hell, keep on moving forward. keep on going until you see the light, because who we become as we go through the mountain, not around it, is priceless.
1,000%, which is why I'm reiterating it, because I don't know that a lot of people are willing to have those conversations. Yeah. Right. We can get on. And by the way, my number one strength is positivity.
I was going to ask, what is your first, because mine is woo, and I suspect that you're woo too, but maybe not.
Woo. Yeah, I am. I'm positivity, achiever, communication, woo, arranger.
Okay. I am woo, activator, strategic, connectedness.
Yes.
And visionary.
And that makes sense. Yeah. And those strengths, again, it's like playing to that. I am that glass half full. One of my clients says I'm the queen of perspective. She's like, and I do. And the reason why I'm focusing so much on the darkness also is because I understand that a lot of people are in a space right now of the not knowing, which has always been the case, but COVID
Yes,
just brought that
for us.
to light. I lost my father, my hero, my first love, just a few months ago, and it was partly because of COVID. So the journey that I went on of allowing myself to be okay to not be okay.
Yeah, I love
And
that.
allowing myself to be sad, and allowing myself to lean into support, and allowing myself, and that journey did start. My divorce did prepare me for the loss of my father, of being able to experience peace and grace among so much excruciating pain, because we're always in training for something bigger.
Yeah.
And I always say, whenever I'm going through a struggle, I always say, this is going to be a great story. Not to make light of it, but it's like, man, it's kind of like the hero's journey, right? Joseph?
Yeah.
This is going to be a good one.
Something's big's coming, because
something big is coming. Exactly.
big storm, big rainbow.
Big rainbow.
So let me ask you this, because I like to, as we wrap up, I like to ask you two questions. One is, what is a book, podcast, or Netflix series that we must check out?
So I love Brene Brown. I feel like Brene Brown is for everybody. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, whether you are still in college or you have a PhD or you're in any phase of life, Brene Brown is absolutely phenomenal. A great way to start with her is her Netflix.
Yes.
It's a quick program. It's probably considered a documentary. Probably it's just a talk. It's a lecture, and it's so extremely powerful about courage and vulnerability. And then she has a slew of amazing books. So my recommendation is always watch that, and then go onto her website and look at the book that speaks to you.
Yes.
What I appreciate about her is that she researches. So not only is she talking about these things, but she has the data to back the stuff that she's talking about. So if I had to only choose one, it would be Brene Brown.
Awesome. Go check out our friend Brene. So, clarity is important, but action is critical. So as we say goodbye, what is one action that you can invite our listeners to take as a result of this episode?
All right. So one action that I would love for you to take as soon as this episode is over is to write yourself a letter. Write yourself a letter as if you were writing to your best friend. So think about all the things that you say to your best friend, the way that maybe you admire him or her, what you appreciate about them, the things that make you really, really proud of them. And for some of you, you may have to write this in, because it's to yourself, in the you, so in the second person. So dear Luly, I acknowledge you for everything you've been through and continuing to show up with courage and compassion for others. I love how you're sharing your story vulnerably and how you just keep doing that thing, and just write that letter and then seal it. Keep it in your drawer for 30 days. Set some sort of reminder. Maybe it's a calendar reminder or a reminder on your phone, and then mail it to yourself in 30 days.
Mailed. That's amazing. Yeah. I love that because at the end of the day, we are our own best friends. If we don't choose us first, how will people choose us?
And so much clarity can come from taking that action as well.
Love that. So where can people find you, and any parting thoughts?
So where you can find me is my website, lulyb.com, LULYB, like bold.com. And I was recently hacked in May. Right now, I'm focusing on rebuilding Instagram. I have a little bit of Facebook presence right now, but I'm really just, again, clarity, focusing on one thing because it demolished a lot of things when I was hacked in May. So right now it's on Instagram, and it's that Lulyb, THAT. So that Lulyb. I'm really great about checking DMs. I love following back the community, and I also have an opportunity for you to schedule a quick chat with me. So if you just need to bounce ideas, you have a question, or you want to chat, or maybe there's a business opportunity to get to know each other, or you just want to say hi, we can also schedule a chat. That's on the link in my Instagram as well.
Awesome. Go check Luly B out. Thank you, Luly, for sharing for coming, for showing up as beautiful as you are, and for sharing the journey. Because at the end of the day, we want our listeners to understand that wherever they are in the right path. Keep honoring your values, keep honoring your purpose, and just keep on moving forward.
Definitely not a straight line. That's right. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much. I just had the most amazing conversation with Luly. And was it amazing because it was all about the great things in her life? Well, actually, no. A lot of the conversation was around the struggles that she's had in her life in the last few years, and how those, even though painful and even though you don't wish them, not even in your worst enemy, those are the struggles that had led her to the growth that she's experiencing right now. We talked about her life as a businesswoman. We talked about her divorce. We talked about the stress of becoming the main breadwinner as a single mom. And we also talked about the loss during the COVID. She lost her father to COVID. So it's a very rich conversation with a lot of honesty around what is real as women business owners, and what do we have to hang on to and overcome to reach our goals. One of the things that Luly suggests, and I definitely think you should try this, is to write a letter to yourself as if you were your best friend. Go ahead, write that letter, sit on it for 30 days, put it in an envelope, seal it, and then mail it back to you, and then you can read it. Because that's a gift that you're going to give yourself as if you were talking to your best friend, which is, if we are not our own best friends, who are we? So make sure you check out this episode. It was a great one, and I can't wait to hear your comments and see your thoughts around clarity and building a business while maybe sometimes not having life work as planned. Have a great, great day, and check out this episode.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Masters in Clarity. If you loved today's show, please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Share this episode with 2 people in your world, and as a gift, go to mastersinclarity.com/free to download free clarity resources. Join your host, Dolores Hirschman, next time to continue forging a clear path to your impactful success.